Now, I don't know if the grade centers are better or worse or whatever it is, but you as a board, if you're gonna ask for our trust, you vote on something that doesn't pass, stop talking about it, move forward, or have another vote and redo it. To me, it sounds like somebody swayed somebody or pushed their way or wants it a certain way, and that's the way it's gonna be.
So
That's my impression.
Okay, so to make it very clear. I'm sorry?
You guys can't make a decision too, step down.
Okay, so fair enough.
I actually came to this meeting tonight. I know Dr. O'Malley's not a big fan of social media, but on social media, I already seen before coming in this meeting that it was gonna be about grade centers. And it turned into that. So there is something more to it, because I had a heads up before walking in the doors that this was gonna be discussed. After hearing that last meeting that it was done, voted down, and that was it for it. Like you said, it could be reopened, but it wasn't officially reopened, was it?
So, to be clear, I voted no, and I was the third vote to vote no. And what I said, just to be clear, I agree with the concept, I don't agree with the approach. Because I felt that we were voting on doing the grade centers without having the plan. So today we came to the table to find out how to get the plan. And now, if we decide to bring this up next month, for example, after having the plan, having time to digest it, and we bring that up again, we can vote to go to the grade centers, or not. I just wanted the plan, so I'm doing exactly what you're saying. I don't want to just push something forward without a plan, and that's for the community. That's so that everybody here can see that we're not just making arbitrary decisions quickly without thinking about them.
But
So
then
how
did it get on the agenda then for an action item to approve a selection of a preferred deficit reduction scenario? That's the part that I don't understand, 6A.
I don't know.
If we agreed last week, we voted last week that it's off the table, how did it end up back on the agenda? Why are we sitting here discussing something that was decided on last week when no additional information was presented?
Well,
Because they really feel like it's important to do it this way.
That goes to what you're saying. We voted on it. If you don't bring me any information, any different information to change my opinion, I'm not going to change my vote.
That's why we tabled it, though.
But why was it on here in the first
But that's
place?
the way this works. It's a great thing that we tabled it. I mean,
Somebody really, really wants it.
George, I agree with you.
I'm sorry to ask you to ask this question, but if you could please explain what the $422,000 penalty was.
I don't know of any penalty for the 5-year contract. For the teacher's contract?
Correct.
There's not, to my knowledge, there was no $400,000 penalty for the teacher's contract.
You're forced to put extra money into the pension plan?
No.
Because you negotiated
For the
specifically?
teachers? No. The teachers, the way the teachers' pension plan works is the teachers put away, I want to say, 9.8 or 10.8, somewhere in that facility of their own money, right? So the teachers fund their portion of it. The district puts in, I want to say 0.8, I'm going to call it 1% just for the sake of math. And then the state of Illinois does the other part of it, not the district. There's been legislation out there saying that the districts might have to pay that portion that the state is paying because the state is spending the money that they're supposed to delegate that towards that. But according to that teacher's contract, I am not aware. Is anyone aware of the teacher's contract? No.
We paid a penalty on Mr. Libby and also Miss, what was her name?
Haddock, right?
Haddock, because she had in her contract where she was able to retire and everything, and then we, at any time, and we ended up paying.
So Dr. Haddock's was, I believe, 200 and some thousand.
You're talking 5, 6, 7 years ago.
Right, and then I believe Carrie's was,
Within this last
I want to
5
say,
years.
ballpark anywhere between 50 and 100. I don't know. I think it's 60 sticking in my head. But that was an individual contract versus the teachers. On the teachers, I am not aware of any penalty of what you're talking about. Sir?
A couple things. First of all, I am for everything for the kids, just so everybody's clear what I'm going to say. But I do feel like the 60% of the people here who paid for everybody and the 40% that get everything free, it doesn't balance out. Okay, whatever it is, but it's still okay. If it was like 88 to 12%, I could see that. but 60% of the people here and 40% of the people getting everything for free. It just doesn't balance out. It doesn't make any sense. Okay, and what I want to say is at my company, okay, my boss, every time I have a problem and I come to him, all I hear from him is, don't come to me with a problem, come to me with a solution. So everybody here who came here to bitch and moan about what is not beneficial to work for their specific family, get over it. Because it's all about the kids, it's not about you. All right?
Can I just say that the free and reduced piece of it, those are forms that families fill out and the state approves.
Well, then
We as
maybe
a
instead of putting the
district-
money
No, we as a
into-
district don't have any control over it.
Yeah, well,
That
but-
is completely
but-
up to the forms that are submitted to the state.
It's still, it doesn't make any sense. Maybe then the state should give you guys money to look into the families that are abusing the system.
They actually tell us that.
Because it's the truth.
They actually tell us that you only audit like, what, 1% or 2%?
But I know what they're saying, but it's bullshit. That's what it is.
You know, that system, we, like I said earlier.
We don't agree with it, we just
systems
work
that
in
are
it.
created, we have to work with it, and we have to be respectful.
If everybody here in the community would get together, we could raise the money that we need to not cut any of the stuff.
Thank you. Any other,
Is there a,
Tim, you're monopolizing our time?
this is a simple one, just
All right.
reading off of that. Is there any legal limit to any fundraising that can come from something outside of the PTA, a donation be made to the school?
You could write a check for $5 million and we'll be gladly to accept it.
And that will not have any
Make sure that's
recollection on,
Yes, there's an unlimited,
reassessed.
if an unlimited,
So the
anyone
community can go ahead and do fundraiser and, well, we wouldn't hand it to you, but get it into the school's account somehow?
I have a question to combat your question. Could they direct funds to specific programs? So a group outside the,
No, they
outside of
cannot. The policy precludes you from doing that. So you make a donation, the board reserves the right to place that money in whatever account they so choose. That's
Okay.
policy.
All right, just so you guys know. Before you write the $5 million.
And
You want to just
Anyone
swap my
else?
Chromebooks and drop the Chromebooks off?
I'd like to motion.
I do have one last thing, I'm sorry.
Yes, sir.
So I'll go back, and I'm sorry to repeat myself, but I'll go back
Okay, you
if
defend
I have
it's
to.
fine.
And I honestly think that you as a board should go back and look at what you're proposing to us, or or whether you're not proposing to us. Doesn't really matter. What I'm trying to get to is that you voted 3-3 and you still said no. So whether it's 3-3 yes or 3-3 no, you all have to decide that, because we here heard as 3-3. We never heard of 4-3 or 4-2. We heard 3-3, and you all repeated that again and again and again. So nobody here knew that there was a fourth vote, what it was. So
It wasn't technically, it wasn't a vote, yeah. It's not allowed, it doesn't count, basically.
okay,
Well,
well,
you did have a statement that was read.
somebody should have stepped in and made that
We
circle.
can't, we can't.
Well, you can't. I would just like to,
One last thing I just want to say.
It doesn't make any sense.
Promise?
Don't take this the wrong way, Jennifer. You made a comment earlier saying that going to grade schools next year, you know, how can you go home and tell your own child about going to a different school or whatever it is? Well, honestly, everybody here doesn't want to go home and tell their kid that either, but they also want to not abandon the classes, the music, the art, and stuff like that. So, honestly, if it's going to grade schools to keep the classes, I think more people would be for it than against it.
Well, and that was the point that I was trying to make, is that the way that I understood from Craig Schilling was that if the referendum passes, we only have to cut the $250 next year, which would simply be increasing the upper grade classes size. That would give us a year to come up with a comprehensive, complete plan to then transition our community into grade centers so that everything is done, that there's a plan, that it's concise, it's cohesive. No kid is going to be left behind. I hate to use that phrase, but you know what I mean? That everybody's going to be accounted for. Everyone's needs are going to be met. That's what I want. To be able to go home and say, yeah, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, it's okay.
So I have a question to go along with that. I get the planning. I work for a company. Things are thrown at me every day. You deal with change, you go with it. I get that if the referendum does not pass, what you're talking about, this 250,000. Or I'm sorry, if it does pass.
If it does pass.
If it doesn't pass, the thought of you guys sitting up here bickering and arguing to not go to grade centers is a no-brainer. How could you sit here and say, let's cut all the programs instead, but we have an option to go to grade centers that could save them?
Because once they're gone, they're not coming back.
You're not gonna get them back, so it's a no-brainer.
Once they're gone.
Keep the programs and go to the grade centers and give our kids everything that we had. We're gonna go backwards?
Things were cut and they came back.
Well,
So,
I was
mean,
here
don't think
I
they're gonna-
graduated from this school 24 years ago with some of the people here. The last time that the referendum went through. The last time the taxes were raised, it's pathetic. I moved out of this community and moved back in it, so my kids could go to the same district that I went to because it's great schools. This is ridiculous that you guys are bickering back here. We put you in these positions to stand for our kids. And you guys are fighting
And I would just like
over-
to say, but the one thing is that we have to represent the whole community, and the whole
Right.
community does not agree with one view or the other view.
The whole
So
community
we are
should be these
respecting,
kids, not the whole community of Norridge. It's the kids in this district.
but the
not
whole community we have to worry
Please.
about. So we have some of the community that agrees on grade centers, some of the communities that does not. So we're representing them. And the fact that, so one day we will end up agreeing on one thing sooner or later. And it will work out, which then hopefully will make the whole community all be able to agree and move forward with it. The fact that we're talking about it and discussing it, I would think is a good thing versus everyone just saying, you're right, let's just go with it and go either without a plan or go with one way or the other. So, pardon me?
The only thing talks about this looking at the plan there. So it's not about us anymore, it's all about them. I don't have any kids at school, I'm here to see what's the future for my daughter. Do I keep her at the Catholic school or she will be Catholic? That's the only reason I'm here.
You're gonna get more people to
It's not
leave
all
the
about us,
community.
it's them. What good for them?
How long has these options been talked about in place?
So the deficit reduction plan is what it was presented on for 39 meetings. After the referendum failed, then that is when option 5 came along.
So why
So-
hasn't there been that plan after? This is what's gonna happen after, like, you're gonna
That's
wait
why the
39
plan
more
all
meetings
along
when
was that there was gonna be all the
registration for
cuts.
kindergarten is in 3 weeks.
No, I know, and the plan all along was gonna be that it was
There's a
gonna
lot
be
of
the cuts.
time
We
being
knew
wasted.
that the cuts of what they were gonna be made, and that was what we agreed to. None of us were happy about it, but that's what was agreed upon. And then after the referendum didn't pass, then all of a sudden, option 5 came along. And that's why some of us are having troubles with handling this option that all of a sudden came out of nowhere, when for all along, we've been discussing the other option. Like, that option should have been discussed for the 39 presentations that Dr. O'Malley had.
That's all
So-
fine.
But I
That's
think,
all
I
true.
think what she's trying, I'm gonna elaborate on what she said. During the 39 meetings, yes, she's correct. We said that we had to make these cuts and we were gonna eliminate on the first year, $750,000 and on year 2, 800 and something. But during the ad hoc deficit committee meeting, which is a separate subcommittee that was formed by key people from the community, this discussion of grade centers came out of that because a person sitting at that table said, is there another option than cutting those programs? And the gentleman that they all keep referring to, Dr. Craig Schilling, who isn't here tonight, said, yes, you can look at the grade center option. And he asked that committee, is this something you want me to do? And the consensus was yes, because no one wants to cut those programs. So that's how grade centers has now evolved and has come back to the forefront of the discussion. And so when we talk about the grade centers, if the referendum doesn't pass, we have to go to grade centers. But the issue is, if we do pass a referendum, which is for the minimum of 1.250, the dilemma is, do we still go to grade centers, or do we take the year and transition to the grade centers the following year? And for me, last board meeting, I left with a hole, and I didn't know an answer to any of some of those questions that I had internally for myself. So that's why
I'm still not agreeing on the whole thing of if it doesn't pass that we're going to grade centers.